My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas. I want to talk about the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, the SCJC. You can find the State Commission on Judicial Conduct online. You can access them through an online portal. You can file complaints against judges there. You can learn more about what their work is and what they are entrusted to do. There's one thing that I heard a long time ago that continues to resonate in my mind. To distrust the judiciary marks the beginning of the end of society. When we no longer have trust in the judiciary, that marks the beginning of our trust that our society is a just society. So the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, they are the agency that's tasked with investigating judges to make sure that they are not being abusive, to make sure that they are upholding the judicial canons that they have sworn to uphold when they are on the bench. In Federalist number 78, Alexander Hamilton called the judiciary the least dangerous and the weakest branch of government. Why? Because it held neither the purse strings of the legislature nor the force of the executive. The power wielded by the judiciary was merely judgmental, he wrote. We know today that is too often not the case. Today we must say that it's probably the most cruel, most tyrannical, and often the most unjust. Importantly, Hamilton also said in Federalist number 78, presaging Chief Justice John Marshall in Marbury versus Madison, that it was the duty of the courts to declare all acts contrary to the manifest tenor of the Constitution void. Judges don't do that. Judges say, well, if a legislature passed something, we have to interpret it so that we somehow assume that it is actually constitutional. They do not void unconstitutional acts. If we were to go through, for example, our Texas Family Code, there are a lot of things we should be able to throw out immediately because they do violate the tenor of our Constitution. Chief Justice William Rehnquist later observed, the Constitution tries to insulate judges from the public pressures that may affect elected officials. The Constitution protects judicial independence not to benefit judges, but to promote the rule of law. Too often today, our judges think that they are protected. They have this thing called judicial immunity. We have put these things into place to protect judges, and yet Chief Justice William Rehnquist said, the Constitution protects judicial independence not to benefit judges, but to promote the rule of law. Too often these judges promote the rule of lawlessness and anarchy, and they are the instigators of injustice. When our courts do not dispense justice, they dispense injustice, and that is what's happening today, especially in our family courts, and especially in the state of Texas. I have been to courts where I have watched the judges order somebody out of a child's life. A father has been ordered not to see his child for a period of a couple of years. For example, I have a friend who cannot see his son. A judge has ordered him that he's not allowed to see his son because he does not agree that his son should be subject to transgender mutilation through certain chemicals that would lead to him, his hormones being changed, that he protests the social engineering done by his ex-wife upon the son. I've met his son. His son is a boy. And yet the mother, Ann Georgelis, who is a pediatrician, she has sent other people to this transgender clinic. She is doing this experiment, evidently, on her son. Jeff Younger, the father, says no. The judge says, no, you cannot see your son anymore except under supervised visitation. No reason that this should take place, but a judge who is supposed to wield merely judgmental opinions on issues is actually acting in a very tyrannical manner, completely contrary to, I believe, what she ever should have been able to have the power to do. Two parents created this child. If two parents created the child, both parents should have rights to the child. There should not be a judge who comes in and who tells a father or a mother, I'm kicking you out of that child's life. Often in these instances, as we've witnessed many times, when the judges do this, we almost expect them to get it wrong. They often rule with the abuser. They often rule with cruel and unusual punishment. These judges, in many instances, are tyrannical. The State Commission on Judicial Conduct is supposed to be able to investigate these judges to see whether they're upholding the judicial canons.